In today's video, I'm going to show you step by step how to build a streaming box that has SRT and network bonding. We're going to be using a BELABOX image or operating system, which is open source and 100% free. And we're going to be using as well the Orange Pi 5 Plus board. And of course, with few accessories, I'm going to show you everything. This is going to be super useful if you're doing some RO streaming or doing remote production and you want to be able to send an SRT feed to something like OBS or any other streaming software really that can take SRT to be able to stream a feed coming from someone from anywhere in the world. Mostly useful if you're doing some outdoors things like racing or just vlogging, just doing RO streaming, like really anything outdoors really seems to be working well with this setup. But you can also using inside, I mean, so many things you can do with it if you know how SRT works, and of course network bonding. I'm not gonna get into that now. This video is gonna be a little longer because again, this is a step by step. I'm gonna show you everything from scratch on how to build this thing. By the end of this video, you should have a functional BELABOX or streaming box with SRT that has bonding, so you can use your, if you have a cell phone that has internet, you can actually use that combined with maybe another cell phone and use the tethering feature to be able to bond those two networks and be able to stream. You can also use an Ethernet cable with anything that can actually provide internet via Ethernet cable. That's gonna work as well. You're gonna see all that. You can also use some other modems that can actually take maybe a SIM card and plug into the box and be able to stream using that. Man, this is so super cool. And of course, I'm gonna show you some samples of some of the things that I've been able to do with this box. This is my second box that I'm building, by the way, so you're gonna be able to see some of the things that I've been able to do, show you some sample footage and everything. And of course, the video is gonna be divided into 7 parts. Obviously, first one is you just watch it. This is gonna be the intro. Second part is gonna be the hardware and unboxing to show you everything that you need. By the way, the box should not cost you, the material did not cost me more than $150, so it should cost you less than $150. Everything else is gonna be free. And the third part is gonna be putting everything, kind of installing the hardware together, just to install, just to make sure we have the functional box. And then once we have the box already built, all put together, the fourth part is gonna be installing the BELABOX image. That's like the operating system. Number 5 is gonna be setting up the BELABOX account, because you need the BELABOX account to be able to control everything. Again, BELABOX is free. They also have a paid tier. I'm gonna go through what's the difference between the free tier and the paid tier. I mean, it's not really paid. It's just like a donation that you give to the guy who created the BELABOX, and that donation gives you some privileges. You're gonna see why it's important to have it. If you can afford it, obviously it's gonna be awesome. Number 6, I'm gonna show you how to set up the paid account now, because once you have the free account, if you're interested in the paid account or the donation part of that account, I'm gonna show you how to set it up as well and why it's so awesome to have it. And number 7 is gonna be just testing it and showing you how actually the box is working, you know, connecting the HDMI camera into it, and of course showing you guys how you can bond two network sources together. I'm gonna test with my cell phone and I'm gonna test with my Ethernet just to show you how the bonding works and everything. All right, so if you just got the parts, this is gonna be awesome. You can actually follow along and build with me. If you don't have the parts and you're just curious, you wanna just see how it works, obviously grab some popcorn, because this is gonna be a fun project. Super excited about it, and let's not take much time, guys. Let's get into it. What is going on, guys? My name is Sam. You're watching our production tips and tools helping you master live streaming. So let's get into the first part, which is unboxing. And as you can see, I have everything that we need, guys. Okay, I'm just gonna go through everything that you're gonna need, obviously, in terms of hardware. Okay, the first one, which is the most important one, is gonna be the actual Orange Pi board. Okay, so and this is what it's gonna look like. Super simple. It's gonna come in this little box here. I'm gonna go ahead and open it. Super straightforward. Just gonna use this little screwdriver to poke the plastic. All right, so as you can see, we have the board unboxed, and this is what it looks like, guys. Super straightforward and simple. As you can see, super solid, by the way, guys. Okay, just want to show you what it has. Obviously, once the box is built, you're gonna be able to see it as well, but it's just a board, a little computer, small computer board kind of thing. Okay, so the one that I have is a 4 GB of RAM. Okay, and it's gonna say it somewhere here, Orange 5 Plus 4 GB. All right, on this little thing here, there's like a sticker here. It's gonna tell you everything. Okay, but other than that, you got some USB type A. I'm just gonna show you what we have here. All right, so you can see we have some USB type C, 2 USB type A. That's kind of blue, so this is like high speed. And on this side, we have dual Ethernet port. So we can actually connect up to 2 internet connections, which is cool, especially for bonding. So if you have poor internet connection, you can actually use both. Let's say you have a Starlink and you have something else, you can, like another maybe modem, you can use that. You also have 3 HDMI ports. Now, one of the HDMI is an HDMI input, and these 2 are going to be HDMI outputs. If you were to connect some screens or some monitors, you can actually use this. Again, for the BELABOX, we most likely probably gonna use it to set it up. But once you have it set up, you don't need to use a monitor anymore. So you also have like other USB ports here. Again, these are super useful for connecting some modems, your phone, internet, and things like that. And you have another USB type C. This one, I believe this is the one to power it. Okay, so we have 2 USB type C. One is for powering it. Again, we're gonna get into it. It's either this one or this one of these 2. I think this one is the one that's powering it. So, but anyway, don't worry, we gotta figure out once we turn it on. Okay, sometimes I get confused a little bit. So that's pretty much it. This is what it looks like. Super solid, and it feels really good in your hands. Right, so we're not gonna do much here. We're gonna go to the next part, and we're going to unbox it as well. All right, so the next unboxing before we get to the case is gonna be this one right here. This is the eMMC module thing. All right, the eMMC is more like an SD card / SSD type of an SD card kind of thing. Anyways, this is gonna be useful for running the operating system on this board. All right, so that's why it does really. Okay, it's a little faster than a normal SD card. We're also gonna need an SD card at some point, but the SD card is just gonna be for us to transfer, because we're gonna download the image or the operating system from the internet, transfer it to an SD card, install into the board, and then the board will kind of transfer it to the eMMC module. So when the Orange Pi 5 Plus actually boots up, it's gonna be running the operating system off of the eMMC module. Okay, the one I have is 64 gig, and that's what I've been using it in my previous build, and seems to be working well, no problem. Okay, so let's go ahead and open it, show you what it looks like. Again, it's gonna look like an SD card, really. I mean, yeah, close to an SD card, but it doesn't look exactly the same. All right, so this is what it looks like. Again, I'm just gonna open this thing. There we go. So this is what it looks like. Again, this is made by Orange Pi as well. It has like 2 pins kind of parts here, and that's what we're gonna be using to insert into the board. Okay, super straightforward. It's just like a card, really. All right, so next up, we're gonna open up our case. So we have the Orange Pi case here. Again, everything here is like kind of separate when you purchase. So I'm gonna leave links down below for you guys. And the previous case that I had, it just came as just a case. Okay, but now this one, the new one, it actually came with a power cable. Okay, which is really cool. Now, because this board uses USB Type-C, you can even use any USB cable, really. So this is no big deal. If you find a case and you can get the power cable, it's no big deal, because you can use like any USB Type-C with even something like your phone charger, it will still work. So that should not be a big problem. Okay, but since we have it, it's a bonus. You can plug it directly into like a power plug, which is really good. It also has like a little switch here, so you can switch on and off, which is cool. However, if you're using like a power bank, this is probably not gonna be useful because most power banks are going to have like some sort of USB output. You can just get a USB cable and connect directly from the power bank into the board. So this could be useful in some cases, in other cases may not be useful, but it's good to have it. All right. So the case as well, this is what it looks like. Now you may have different cases on the internet, but I'm going to tell you why I chose this one. First of all, let's open it. So this is what it looks like. First thing I like about this case, obviously, is because it's 100% metal, so it's really awesome. Okay, that's one. Two, it has a fan, so this has active cooling. So the fact that it has active cooling actually helps, because if you're using this box in environment where it's super hot, it may overheat, right? Because it's working, it's capturing video and it's sending it to the internet. You know, it's a lot of processing going on. So having some cooling is really good. And you may be working in hotter environments, especially if you're doing some outdoors streaming. This is gonna be super useful. So you can have some cases that have passive cooling. This one has active cooling, so the fan is gonna be really going on the entire time, and it's gonna be powered by this little box, which is cool. Active cooling, that's one reason why I love this case, but also the other reason is, as you can see, it has like, you know, openings, which is cool for like, you know, cooling the box and making sure it stays cool. So yeah, that's about it. And it's super solid as well. So love it. So when it comes to hardware, all the parts that we need, this is it. This is everything. All right. The last thing that we're gonna need is an SD card. So I have this little SD card. This is micro SD card. Now this, I already had it, and this is gonna be, I would say you need it, but it's not gonna be part of the box once it's fully built. It just helps you to be able to install the operating system. So I have a 64 gig micro SD card. If you had something different, I believe it would still work. All right. Even if you had like 32 gig, I think it would still work. So I'm using a 64 gig micro SD card. Again, this is just to be able to transfer the operating system into the board. So that's pretty much it, guys. This is everything you need. So we're gonna go ahead and go to the next section, which is putting everything together. All right, guys, in this section, we're gonna put the hardware together. So we're going to install first the eMMC module. Okay, so pay close attention before we install the case or anything. As you can see, I'm just gonna use this little screwdriver. So basically where we're gonna be installing it, if you can look at the board here, you see this little kind of like holes, whatever, I don't know what they're called. This is where we're gonna be installing the eMMC module. Okay, so you're just gonna push it just like so, right? So it's gonna go this way, and then I'm gonna put it here. Obviously want to make sure you put it in a way that you push it, okay, and you should feel it. So let's go ahead. You have to be delicate here. There we go. Oh, so that's it. Do a little close up for you guys so you can see where it went right there. All right, so we have the eMMC module installed. By the way, guys, you can even like install an SSD drive in here, right? You can see there's a spot here for that. But again, for what we are doing, we don't need it. So yeah, just so you know. Okay, so eMMC module is done. Next up, we are going to install our case. Okay, so I'm gonna move this here. And then first of all, when you receive the case, you're gonna need a screwdriver. I already have this small screwdriver because we need to kind of like open it first. So I'm just gonna, you have like screws here, 1, 2, 3, 4 screws, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now you also inside, if you don't have a screwdriver, you can actually use the one that comes with it, which is exactly the same that I'm using. It's gonna be inside, so you're gonna have to open it. Now you don't need to open it, you can just take it out from one of the openings here. Just take it out. It's exactly the same that I have, so you can do that as well. Okay, so what we're gonna do is just gonna go ahead and unscrew, kind of like open the box. and then get the material inside. Again, super straightforward, so you don't need to stress about it. If you have a professional screwdriver, will probably go faster, but this one does the job as well. Make sure you keep all the screws in one place because you're gonna need them eventually. So looks like all the screws are removed. Oh, there's one missing here, one remaining. We're gonna remove that as well. So you got 8 screws in total. Once you have all of them screwed, you can just go ahead and open it. And once you open it, you're gonna get some other screws inside and some other parts. These are going to be, I believe they're called heat sinks. They're going to help with the heat. And we get some rubber material here. We're gonna use that to attach the box. I'm gonna show you how that works. And yeah, and we get this little heat sink stuff here. These are going to be useful. I'm going to show you how they work as well. Just going to attach that to the board. All this is for heat management. Okay, these are going to be useful for heat management. All right, so you got 1, 2, 3, 4 of this. All right, you guys can see you got this kind of rubber feet. We're going to use that. Going to put it under the case, and you got more screws. So all of these are going to be super useful. You guys are going to see, because we're doing this together. All right, so don't panic. Also have a fan. This is the fan. All right, so already this is gonna be cool because it's gonna be helping to cool down the box. All right, and that's it. So this is the case. Okay, so now we have the case ready, unboxed. We're gonna go ahead and put everything together. So first off, we're gonna install the heat sinks. So we're gonna go here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna remove this little plastic, okay, so that we can, there's a little kind of glue on here, so we can glue them on specific parts on the board. Okay, so I need you guys to pay attention to this because this is very crucial. So we're just gonna remove the plastic thing. Okay, and as you can see, actually this is gonna be super easy. The easy way to see it is where you're gonna put them. They are perfectly going to match, you know, the specific areas on the board. Okay, so as you can see, this is the chip, this is the processor. You can see that this one matches the processor exactly, right? So that's gonna be the one that's gonna go on the processor, on the chip. This one right here matches this little part here. Okay, so we're gonna put it there, and this one, you can see that it's gonna match this one right here, and this is gonna match this little part right here. So that's pretty much it. It's just different components on the board. Again, you don't need to know everything here. Okay, but what I love about the case is just gonna show you where each heatsink goes. So we're gonna start with this one that goes to the processor here, and just gonna put it on the top just like so. Again, this is gonna help with the heat management. Okay, that's it. Stays on it and it's glued on it. All right, next we're gonna install this one right here. We're gonna put it here. All right, so we can go here and then boom, that looks good. It's not straight, but once you put it on, it stays there, so you can remove it really. That's another thing. If you put it on a different, you know, and on a part where it's not supposed to be, it would be hard to remove it. I don't know if there's a way to actually remove it, but again, I don't think it's damaging either, so I wouldn't worry about it that much. Next one is gonna be on this little part right here. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and put it on. There we go. So that one is on. And next step, we're gonna have this one that should go here, and we'll be done with the heat sinks. So just gonna go ahead and remove the blue plastic and install it. There we go. All right, so that's done and we are good to go. Now the next part is gonna be to install the board into the case. So as you can see, you look at the holes first and you look at some of the components you have. So as you can see, these are the 3 HDMI to match the 3 HDMI openings. So this is gonna be the way that it's going to be installed, right? So you can see that it's easy actually to see, right? That's it. Now the fan is gonna be on the top, and that's gonna be the last part that we're gonna put on the top. And it will be done. So you can see on the other side that it matches as well. So you can see the USB and then some audio. We have an audio jack as well here. I don't know if I mentioned it, but again, you're gonna see everything once we have it built. Okay, so that's how it's gonna go in. As you can see, guys, it just matches easy, right? And you can also see the bottom, it's kind of open, which is good. So all of these, guys, is gonna be helpful to help with the airflow, right? Which is awesome. Now, another thing you have to pay attention to, obviously, once you have everything fitting, it's kind of obvious, but remember, you also have some screws that will kind of go in here, right? To be able to attach the board into the case, and they are going through these holes. Okay, so it should be straightforward. So as you can see, it should really match. So that's it. Now we're gonna add the fan later. Okay, so next up, we are going to use some of the screws that we get from this little plastic. As you can see, we have two types of screws. We have the kind of like pale ones, all right, and then we have the darker ones. So the pale ones, these ones right there, these are the ones we're gonna be using to be able to attach the board. And you're gonna see we only have 4 of these, so you know that these are going to be the ones to use to attach the board to the case. And again, the screwdriver is also magnetic, which is super awesome. So we're gonna go ahead and attach that through here, which is super awesome. So we're gonna screw the board into the case. Again, you can see that this is magnetic, which is awesome. Now it comes with the 5th screw, but I don't think it's needed because there's nowhere to screw it. Yeah, there's nothing to screw it into. Okay, again, this could be a spare screw, or if there's probably another part that we don't need for this particular build that will match that screw. For now, just ignore it. Okay, so now, guys, next we're going to install the fan and close the case. And for this one, you want to make sure you pay attention. So basically, we're going to be installing the fan. You can see all these pins here. All right, so we're going to be installing the fan. As you can see, the fan has 2 cables. It has one black and one red cable. All right, where we're gonna be installing that, we're gonna be plugging on this first row. Okay, as you can see, the 2nd pin is red and 3rd is black. Okay, so that's where exactly we're gonna be installing or plugging into. So we're gonna go first with the red one, again, 2nd pin, and then we're gonna go with the black on the 3rd pin. Okay, now right now everything is connected. All right, and then what you can do is you can actually do a quick test before you put it together and plug in the USB cable just to make sure it actually turns on. So the USB cable can be plugged into the one that's kind of vertical. So the vertical one is the one that provides power. Okay, the horizontal one on this side is not for power, for connecting something else. So if I connect, as you can see now, the fan is actually on. All right, you probably can't see it on the camera, but I just put it on the microphone for you guys to hear it, and I can feel it really. Okay, which is cool. So once the fan is on, you know that everything is working. Again, I can go ahead and unplug it. As soon as you unplug it, it just stops. Okay, so now we are good. We can go ahead and actually close the box and screw everything, because now our box is fully kind of built. We don't have to worry about anything else at this point, other than working on the software. Of course, after we build, we connect everything together. So let's go ahead, and we're gonna be using, again, they give us a lot of screws. We still have, some screws left here, but for now, we're gonna use the original screws that we used to unscrew or to take down the box. We can reuse those ones, no problem. All right, so once it's done, as you can see, everything is kind of looking good. We have our streaming box kind of ready. The hardware part is all put together. We also have our power plug kind of ready. So imagine if you were buying this thing from someone, this would be what you would get after the unboxing. So you can go ahead and plug this into power. Boom, just like so, right? But also, I can go ahead and show you all the ports, guys. These screws, these are like, you can keep them for spare. Again, now you can see that we have everything kind of exposed. So you have your USB Type-C, and this is to power it. You have 2 Ethernet ports. You have 3 HDMI ports, 2 HDMI outputs, this one and this one for output. They are HDMI outputs. This is the one that you're gonna use to input the camera feed. So this is like an HDMI input or a built-in capture card kind of thing. 2 USB dual USB ports here. Again, these are gonna be useful for mostly tethering in some internet connections and things like that. If you want to connect a keyboard and a mouse, you can do that, but for this specific build, we don't even need to use a keyboard and mouse. And then on this side, we have a dual USB high speed. As you can see, it's blue, this USB 2.0. And we have our USB Type-C, again, that can be used to tether in anything that uses USB Type-C, or anything you want to really use that uses USB Type-C. They say your phone didn't have normal USB Type-A, you can use this USB Type-C port to connect your phone as well, no problem. And then we have some little tally light here. I think this is like a power on and off kind of button, but I never use it, just stays on all the time. And we have a audio in kind of jack input. So if you wanted to, let's say you were streaming and you had a microphone that you wanted to connect directly to the box, you can actually do so. Or with HDMI, can take both video and audio. So if you want, you can manage your audio via HDMI. Everything's controllable via BELABOX kind of control UI or user interface. I'm going to show you that once we get to the BELABOX part. But other than that, ladies and gentlemen, we have our box fully built with really active cooling. We got a fan on the top here that goes on every time you plug it in, and you have a lot of air flow, spots. I also forgot to mention that we have an SD card slot here. This is where we're gonna plug in our SD card, and that's pretty much it. So that's it, guys. This is the bottom. Again, a lot of air flow, so many spaces for the air to go through, which is really cool. And again, we got active cooling, so it's awesome. All right, so next up, we're gonna go ahead and go to part 4, which is installing the BELABOX image. All right, guys, in this part, we're gonna go through the process of installing the BELABOX image. Basically, that's like your firmware or operating system into the box, so that we can actually get it working, because without it, you have no streaming box. So this is like empty. All right, so let's go ahead and do it. Before we get into it, actually, there's something that I forgot. I forgot to actually install this rubber feet kind of little stuff. So basically, you just remove them here and you attach them here underneath. And basically, you're gonna see you have like some markings here. You're just gonna follow that. These are going to help when you put the box, any surface. They're just gonna help with making sure that the box does not scratch the surface. That's pretty much what they are meant to do, I believe. So, just to make sure you're not scratching this, you put it on a desk or anything, not scratching. But also, it also gives you some kind of like space between the flow and the actual box. So it leaves some space, which is good for the airflow, right? So yeah, I think they're super helpful. So don't neglect them, because the more you can get some air in and out, the better. It's gonna keep your box kind of cool. All right. So with that out of the way, we're gonna go ahead and install our image. The first thing, remember, we're gonna need the SD card. I already inserted that into the computer. Also, before you use the SD card, make sure you format it, or even if you have something on it, you may actually lose any data on the SD card. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Okay, so use an SD card that you have formatted, or you don't have anything on it, or you have stuff that you don't need, because you're gonna delete everything. Second, we are going to need an HDMI cable. So basically, an HDMI cable is gonna be used for connecting. This is the only time you're gonna need to connect the box to a monitor, so we can see what's going on. And third, you're gonna need the power cable, which we already have, but you can also use an USB cable. Basically, I'm not even gonna be using this one. I'm gonna be using the one that I have already connected, as just using a normal phone charger or anything, just USB Type-C. And that's pretty much it. So I'm gonna go ahead and connect the box. So let's connect it to power. Make sure it's powered. All right. Second, we're gonna go ahead and connect the HDMI cable to the monitor. So to do this, we use one of the HDMIs. There's two HDMI ports. So I'm gonna use the first one. This should work. Boom. And I'm gonna connect the other end of the HDMI to a monitor so you guys can see what's going on. So right now, again, there's nothing going on the box, so you're not gonna be able to see anything. So for now, before we do anything, before we go any further, we need to get the image. Okay. So to get the image, we need two websites. Okay. The first one, it's a tool actually, Balena Etcher. This is gonna help us basically flash the SD card, right? Basically like writing the operating system onto the SD card or micro SD card. So just go to Google and type in Balena Etcher. It's a free tool. The first one is gonna show up here. Click to it and then go here. It says download Etcher and it's going to download into, it's actually basically it's gonna ask you which one you want. So as you can see, this Etcher for Windows. This is the one that I need personally. I can go ahead and download it. If you're using Mac, you can download the Mac one. Once it's downloaded, you can go ahead and open it and double click to it and install it. It's 100% free, so you should not worry. All right. So once it's actually installed, it's gonna look like this. Now, before we do anything, we need to download something else, which is the actual image or the operating system. To do that, you can go to BELABOX.net. I'm gonna leave a link down below. And then once you go to BELABOX.net, you're gonna go here where it says new release for Orange Pi 5 Plus and other Rockchip RK35A8. Okay, so you're gonna go here, click to it, and it's gonna show you different types of boards. And for us, we're using Orange Pi 5 Plus, and then this is what we going to focus on. We're gonna go down here, follow this column, and then go here. It says eMMC installer. This is the one that we need. So we're gonna go here, click download installer. It's gonna take a few minutes, or depending on how fast your internet connection is, just gonna wait for it. All right. So as you can see, we have the BELABOX installer kinda downloaded. It's pretty big. It's actually 1 gig. So we're gonna go ahead and right click to it and extract it, because it's in a zipped folder. All right, so you can actually usually what I do, I go ahead and delete the old one. So as you can see, it's right there. This is the image and it's kind of ready. So it's in this folder, just extracted it. So what we're gonna do now, we're gonna go ahead, go back to Etcher, and then we're gonna click here where it says flash from file. So we're gonna click here, okay, and then we're gonna go to downloads, and then we're gonna go ahead and find our image, click open. And then we're gonna go ahead and here say select target. So we're gonna go ahead and select our target. And as you can see, it shows us all the drives on our computer, but it's showing, which is what I like, it's showing this one called generic storage. And this is crucial, guys, because you don't want to flash one of your other drives or hard drives or whatever SSD drives connected on your computer. But what's beautiful about this one is kind of like intelligent. It's going to show you and kind of refers to the size of your SSD card. So you know, you don't have any, I don't have any hard drive that has, 63 gig. I mean, 63.9 is almost like 65. So I know that's my SD card that I just connected. If you want to see some other drive, you can see them here, but you can see that it's gonna show you it's a system drive. So it wants you to be careful not to delete or erase some information or data on your actual drive. So this is obvious. This is the one that we need to use, and I'm gonna go ahead and select that one. All right, again, you can double check, right? It's a generic storage device, blah blah blah, and it's 63 gig. Okay, BELABOX image in total, you can see it's actually almost 4 gig, which is, it was the 1 gig was because it was zipped. So yeah, it's a large file. So now click, once we are sure, we're gonna go ahead and click. Again, this is our SSD card. I already inserted in the computer. I'm gonna go ahead and click flash, and Windows is gonna give me a warning. I say yes, and just wait. It may take time, so just be patient. Oh, it says something went wrong. You can always retry. So we're gonna go BELABOX image there and then select the target. Oh, I think it was my SSD drive. So my SD card got disconnected. So I'm gonna go ahead and reselect it. Say flash from file, select target. It's It's right there. And then click flash, click yes. Looks like it's happening. So we're gonna have to wait. I think earlier my flash drive got disconnected or something, so we got an error message. All right, so as you can see, it says that the flash has been completed, which is cool. So we can go ahead and close the Balena Etcher. All right, and I'm gonna go ahead and remove my SD card from the computer, and we're gonna actually insert that into our streaming box. So right now I have my SD card right here. Again, usually I use this adapter. You don't have to use it. It depends on what you have. If you have like an SD card slot on your computer that can take directly like a micro SD card kind of thing, you can use that. Other than that, most of these micro SD cards come with an actual full-size SD card adapter that you can use. So yeah, but to go into the box, you're gonna need to have the actual micro SD card. So what I can do now, I'm just gonna go ahead and unplug the power cable for now, and we're gonna look for the SD card slot, which should be somewhere here. I'm just gonna disconnect even the HDMI cable. I believe it's here. There we go. So it's right here. So we can go ahead and insert the SD card again. So it's gonna go this way. So facing me this way, right? Just want to show you guys again. If you do the other way, it may not fit. Oh, it actually does fit. No, you're gonna get some resistance. So always try both sides and see which one works. But as you can see, this way actually does work. All right. So the 64 gig kind of thing facing the bottom. Usually, if you feel some resistance, you don't want to push too hard. But right now, I don't have any resistance. So there you go. So you push it all the way down. Right now, it feels good. And then next up, we're going to go ahead and reconnect our HDMI cable. And then we're going to reconnect our power. All right. And let's see what happens. All right. So as you can see, as soon as it's connected, it's actually detecting the image. So it's going to read the image, and really you don't have to do anything. All you gotta do is just wait. It's going to do everything. You don't have to do anything. Just leave it. It's gonna do its thing. So as you can see, it tells you warning, do not unplug the power cable or reset the board now. Copying the root files to the eMMC. So you can see what's happening. We're gonna wait. You see, detected an orange Pi Plus board, erasing the boot loader from the blah, 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 blah. You have 10 seconds to unplug the power cable if you don't wish to proceed. So we're wishing to proceed. Right now is copying the files to eMMC. That's the whole process. It's copying the files from the SD card to eMMC. Now, once everything is transferred to eMMC, the board should be able to start from the eMMC. I mean, kind of to boot off of the eMMC. Okay, so assuming everything was installed, I'm gonna go ahead and remove the power cable, remove SD card, and then if we plug the power cable again, the box should be able to boot off of the eMMC. Let's see if it works. There you go. Yeah, it's working. Once you see all these numbers, like all the kind of hacker text going down and up, you know that everything is good. So right now, everything is installed, guys, because now you can see that's asking you to do the login with BELABOX. Okay, so you can see BELABOX, the installation is complete, and it says you don't need to connect a monitor to your board at any point. The initial configuration of BELABOX is done by opening the belabox.local first, and you can also use an IP address. BELABOX now is installed, the actual BELABOX firmware or software. Now we are going to access the BELABOX kind of user interface, basically. And to be able to do that, we're gonna need to connect the box to the internet and go to belabox.local. So let's do it. All right. First thing, guys, before you get to do anything, okay, because right now the box is not connected to the internet, you're gonna need to connect it to internet. Okay, so right now I have this cable right here. It's connected to internet, and I'm gonna go ahead and connect to any Ethernet port, one of the Ethernet ports here. Okay, so again, the monitor, we don't need the monitor anymore, so we can actually unplug the HDMI cable. Basically, HDMI was just to help us understand what's happening on the box, the whole installation process. But right now, we don't need it anymore because the image installed. The next thing we need is just to plug in our Ethernet cable. Just go ahead and plug it in. And that one was a little tough. So right now we have internet connected. Again, the SD card also is done. We don't need the SD card anymore. Okay, so if I go ahead and type on my computer and type in BELABOX.local, boom, we're gonna see the box. Okay, it's gonna show up here. Now it's gonna tell us, it says initial BELABOX setup. Set up a password for the BELABOX or web user interface. Minimum length. So I'm gonna go ahead and create a password. Let's say something that you guys can see. Of course, you're gonna have to choose your own password. Make sure you know your password. So I'm gonna write it down somewhere. Just gonna hit remember me. All right. So now we have our BELABOX password already set. You don't need anything else. Okay. Some of you guys on my other video that I made were asking me how to use the BELABOX for free. All right. So this is how you can use the BELABOX for free. As you can see, it's fully functioning. Okay. And now it says a BELABOX update is available. Scroll down to the system menu to install it. Okay. So now we can go ahead and go to system and see where we can actually software update. So we got the software update here. So let's go ahead and click on it. Yeah. Let's go ahead and update the box. Okay. Let's see. Wait a little bit, because it's important to install all the updates for sure. I can also enter my password in here. Okay, so as you can see, this is the progress. Software update is in progress. It's downloading, so we're gonna have to wait. Again, make sure it's plugged in. Make sure internet connection is plugged in and power is plugged in, no problem. And let it update, okay? Don't try to disconnect or do anything crazy or stupid. So for you guys who don't understand, like if you wanted to see the IP address, once you connect the cable, usually you can connect the monitor again, see the IP address, but you don't need to do the IP address. You can just type in BELABOX.local to the device that's connected to the same network, like through a computer or any device like a cell phone, anything that's on the same network. So if you type in BELABOX.local, you're gonna see all these configurations in here. And this is gonna allow you to connect your camera, be able to live stream, be able to do everything really, okay? So this is the free account of BELABOX. We're gonna get to the paid one. I'm gonna show how to set it up and why it's so helpful and important depending on the type of streaming that you're doing. But if this is what you need, if you're gonna be connecting locally, I actually think you don't need to get the paid account really, right? So the free account, this is where it gets you. Okay, at this point, we're still using the free account of BELABOX, which everything is done. I mean, all the controls and everything that actually done locally. All right, so now it's restarting. Again, you can also see like the IP address. It's right there. So if you wanted to use that, you could use that as well. All right, so everything looks good. Now we are kind of ready to go. Just to show you what the BELABOX account looks like. First of all, we have this start is full to start streaming. And then we have the encoder settings and we have SRT settings and we have advanced for developers. We're not gonna be using this. We have the system. This is what we use to update the software and everything. And that's pretty much it. All right. So I'm gonna show you now how to set it up the first time using this free account. First thing, what we're gonna do first, we're going to connect an HDMI camera. Now, an HDMI camera could be just any DSLR, any camera that has HDMI. It could be something like a GoPro if you're doing some action and sports stuff or aero streaming. It could be a camera like this one. All right, this is Action 5 Pro from DJI. Basically, any camera that has HDMI output. Okay, so what we're gonna do, I have a camera here that has like some HDMI kind of ready to go. Basically, it's my second camera, so I'm gonna go ahead and connect it so we can see if we can get a feed. Now remember, the HDMI, that's the HDMI input. These two can be used, when you're connecting a camera. The only HDMI input is the one that's close to these two USB ports. So we're gonna go ahead and connect the camera into that port. And once we have it connected, you can see it says HDMI issues detected. This is usually caused by either blah, blah, blah. That may happen, but as you can see, it's gone. Okay. So what we can do, this is your maximum bit rate. You can set it up. Usually I like to set my maximum bit rate at around 6,000, depending on the type of internet. Now, because now I'm on local internet kind of cable, I can go ahead and I can boost it to like even like 10,000 kbps. But to be reasonable, guys, 6,000 is the happy medium for most things. Either you're doing outdoors, indoors. Again, this is the maximum bit rate. Okay, next up, we're gonna go to encoder settings. Okay, so this is where you're gonna choose what's coming in. You're gonna choose the type of, resolution and frame rate. If you want to do 4K, you can do 4K. Again, be mindful of how much of internet connection or bandwidth you have available. So for me, I'll say 1080, 30 frames per second seem to be very common for most people, especially when you're doing this type of stuff. Okay, so we're gonna choose that. Okay, and then audio source, we're gonna go ahead and choose HDMI. If you want it, you can choose the analog in or no audio. For me, if you're using with a drone, you can actually maybe use just no audio, because if you use HDMI and the drone is not sending any audio, you may start having some errors. Okay, audio codec, I think this one offers better quality. This, I think you can leave it this way unless you have any issues. Audio delay, you can just leave it the way it is. Enable dynamic bit rate overlay. This is not really useful because if you enable it, it's just gonna show some bit rate on the screen. It could be useful if you just want to monitor your bit rate and everything, but if you're streaming, you want a clean HDMI. Okay, let's see. Now, this is gonna be mostly once we start setting up everything in OBS. And for now, we're just gonna leave it this way. And we can leave this one right here. System, we can leave this one right here. Okay, so once we're done, let's hit start. You see, they say invalid SRT LA port. HDMI signal issues detected, usually caused by eMMC or by default cable. Okay, so let's check out our cable, see if you have an issue with the cable. Yeah, we probably have an issue with the cable. Okay, so the cable looks good. I think the cable is good. Now we need to set up our SRT stuff, because at this point, again, this is another inconvenience of using the free account. So we have to set up everything manually, and we're gonna have to use what we call SRT port and a little bit of understanding of what's SRT caller and listener. So we're gonna set that up in the next part, but this is just the initial configuration of the local kind of BELABOX free account. In the next part, we're gonna actually tackle sending the signal from the box into something like OBS or any other streaming software using the BELABOX free account. All right, so let's get into it. All right, guys, so at this point you have seen how to set up the BELABOX with the free account. This is not the paid account. However, we kind of have to discuss something because I kind of lied to some of you guys who left comments. I don't know if it was many people, but there was 1 or 2 people who asked me if they could use the BELABOX for free. I mean, the BELABOX account. Yes, you can. You can set it up locally, as you can see, with the local controls. However, to be able to get the image, because what I thought you could just do it with just the SRT links and send that directly to OBS. But what's happening here, what I discovered after spending hours and hours testing it actually, is that the BELABOX does not support directly just SRT. Okay, so it supports what's called SRT LA. Now, SRT LA does not work directly with OBS. So there's no way you can, because I thought I could connect OBS as a listener directly to BELABOX with the free account. I tried that many times, trying to use ChatGPT. By the way, I'm not a programmer, so some of the things that I try to modify, adding some codes and everything, I use ChatGPT. So feel free to use ChatGPT and just ask it some questions and try to tell it what you're trying to do. It may give you, suggest some codes and everything. So anyway, so I tried and it could not work. All right, so my bad if I made you believe that you could use the BELABOX for free, like 100% free with just OBS. I thought it was possible locally. Now, if you're a programmer and you know how to modify, you can, this is open source, you can probably modify the code and make sure it kind of works with, to make it support. Basically, you need like according to ChatGPT, you need a bridge between SRT LA that will bridge that. It's like it transforms SRT LA into SRT before it hits OBS, so OBS can see it as just SRT. However, that's why you need SRT relays or something like a server, right? And that's where having the paid account comes in. Okay, now if you don't want to pay a monthly fee, you can rent your own server. Basically what you need like a virtual machine that will allow you, it's like a server that will allow you to send those links directly, so from BELABOX free account to the internet, to the server, and then from that server you can actually forward back to OBS. That's possible. Now the difference between, because the server is not going to be free, but the difference between that and the BELABOX paid account is that if you use the server, you pay a monthly fee, obviously, depending on which one you get. However, you may pay for your usage, right? So if you don't use that often, you're not going to pay, right? So you're not going to pay for something that you did not use. Again, depending on which one. Now, there's one that I tried before I used the paid account for BELABOX. In fact, they even give you like, I think like 1 month for free to try it. It's called Etcher by Microsoft. I'm gonna leave a video down below of a guy who demo how to set it up. I'm not gonna get into it, and maybe may end up costing you $5 a month or $3 a month, depending on the usage, how often you use it, and it may probably save you a little bit of money compared to paying $10 a month with BELABOX or $5. By the way, it has 2 tiers, so you can do either $5 or $10. We're gonna get into it in the next section. So that's that. Again, if you want to use it for free, guys, that's the only way. You're gonna have to rent your own server, get like a virtual machine, send the SRT LA links into that, and then from there you can forward back to OBS. Once you have it set up, it should not be complicated. It's basically the same thing you're trying to do that BELABOX does. Basically, it's just you doing it on your own and you're controlling the usage. With the BELABOX, it's a fixed amount. Either use it or you don't use it, you keep paying monthly. But also it's a way to support the guy who created this thing, man. Like for me, I did it. I mean, it's so easy to set up, first of all, compared to setting up your own server, like something like Etcher. But also I just did it to support this guy because he's done a great work. And he's like giving this thing for free, man. Like guys, like I review a lot of stuff here on the channel, and there are some people, like companies, they charge a lot of money for just the bonding technology alone. It costs a lot of money. It's a monthly fee on its own. Plus now we're getting like all the SRT stuff, like being able to connect like $150 little box to be able to send SRT via internet to OBS for streaming. Like just that technology alone, it's like, oh my God, you're just giving to me for free, no questions asked, and it's open source. I mean, like I just did it to support the guy, to be honest. So if you're getting some sort of value, if this is just a fun project, you're probably not making any money from it, or you're not using it professionally, just want to have fun. Maybe you may not have that money to spend every month, but if you can, just support the guy, man. Like, come on. All right. Anyways, so that's that. So now let's go to the next section, which is to actually set up the BELABOX account. This is the paid one. Either you do the $5 tier or $10 tier. I'm going to show you the difference and let's get into it. So as you can see, I still have my box here ready to go. Obviously, we're not going to use it now. We're just going to do the website thing, but we definitely going to need to, while we set up the account, once we start connecting the SRT links and stream IDs and stuff like that, we will need to have access to the box. So that's why I'm going to go ahead and connect it, make sure it's on. So just going to connect the, for now, just the power and internet to make sure it's can access it via the web. All right, again, we can also go to belabox.local. It's going to detect it automatically. Again, this is local. As long as it's connected to the same network as my computer, you can just type in belabox.local, or if you have the IP address, you can also type in the IP address. It's gonna show up. Most of the time, you're not gonna have the IP address because you can see inside, right inside the box. So the best thing is to just type in belabox.local. I just feel like it's simpler. All right, so once we have access to it, we're gonna go ahead and go to, we don't have to do anything here. We're just gonna go ahead and go to belabox.net. So belabox.net. net. Come on. There we go. So once we get here, what we're looking for is the BELABOX cloud. This one right here. Okay. So we have two things. Remember, we have the BELABOX cloud. BELABOX cloud allows you to remotely have this interface from anywhere in the world. So that means if I have this box somewhere in the States, I can go to BELABOX cloud and be able to control it. While if I didn't have the BELABOX cloud, the only way to control it is when you physically connected to the box, whatever device you're using. If you have your phone tethered into the box, you can go to your phone and type in belabox.local and you're gonna have access to the box. That's the difference. So that's $10 a month. Another tier is gonna be, so that's the BELABOX cloud. So there's now BELABOX SRT LA relays, okay? So this one is like they are now giving you their servers so you can forward your SRT signal to their servers, and that's going to allow you to give you a link, a consistent link, same link that stays the same, that you can forward, copy, paste into OBS, and OBS is going to act as a caller now. That's why the link stays the same, and BELABOX SRT LA or relays, whatever, is going to be connecting or talking to the box on your behalf. So whenever you go live or whenever you have the box connected, the feed is going to show up in OBS, and most of the time you don't have to do anything. Obviously, you can still access your interface here and make some changes and everything, but you won't have to do much. Okay, so basically that's the server part, and that's $5 a month. So if you broke, if you run on a tight budget, I would say maybe, and they say you're not using the device outdoors and you're probably using it, they say, locally most of the time, I would invest, if I were you, I would invest in the $5 for the SRT relay and just the server part, and then just to be able to get the feed in OBS, because if you can get the feed in OBS, then the whole thing is useless, right? It's worthless. That's my point. Now, if you have money, obviously, and if you're gonna be using the box in the field, right? They say you doing arrow streaming or you're doing remote production. They say you're a producer and you give this box to someone and you want to be able to control the signal coming in and use it. I would definitely recommend getting the BELABOX remote or BELABOX cloud or whatever. So that's that. So I hope that makes sense, and we're gonna go ahead and set it up, of course. So let's go ahead and click to BELABOX cloud. And as you can see, when you click here, it's gonna ask you to log in. Okay, now for the first time, if you don't have a GitHub account, you're gonna have to create one and you're gonna have to register. Okay, so it says at the moment this service is only available to the BELABOX sponsors on GitHub. So basically the money that you're paying is like you're sponsoring him, you're not paying him really. Okay, so to do it, you need to log in or register with GitHub. So I'm gonna go ahead and click. I already have an account with GitHub. However, because I want to show you guys the whole process, I'm gonna create a new account. I'm gonna enter my email address, and what you need to do is you can go ahead and actually create a username. So let's go team, okay, and then you enter your country, and it's already going to, it says the account is verified, and then boom. So now it says authorize the BELABOX cloud by BELABOX, blah blah blah. So we're gonna go ahead and, as you can see, say personal data, blah blah blah. Go ahead and authorize. All right. So once we get here, it says you don't appear to currently be sponsoring BELABOX. For access, start sponsoring us on GitHub and try to log in again. All right. Or you don't have blah blah blah. Okay. So what we need to do is we are going to go to GitHub. Okay. And then we're going to sponsor. So basically I just clicked here, as you can see, start sponsoring us on GitHub. Okay. Because we won't have access unless we start sponsoring, doing the sponsorship thing. All right. So for now, for the purpose of this video, we're gonna do both. So we're gonna get the SRT relay server, and then we're gonna do the BELABOX remote. Okay. So as you can see, it says here, select a tier. Say how much you can do. $5 a month. By the way, you can choose a custom amount. So I don't know when you choose, like if I was to do $2, I don't know what it would do. So I guess you can just give them a donation and not get access to the other stuff. Okay. However, you can also do like a one-time donation, and that would be just towards the helping and encouraging the guy for creating this. But if you want the exact services that we're looking for, just gonna go here. It says $5 a month, support the development of BELABOX and get a BELABOX Cloud Remote account. So this is it, $5 or $10 a month. Support the development of BELABOX and get one BELABOX Cloud Remote account and one BELABOX Cloud SRT plus SRT LA Relay Server account. You can use the Relay account with BELABOX or for phone streaming. So basically, this can be used for other stuff. It doesn't have to be just for BELABOX. Okay, so if you wanted to use it for some other stuff, you could do it. For $20, you support the development, but you also get like 2 BELABOX Cloud Remote and everything. So it's like double. And then if you do 40 a month, yeah, I think it just gives you, I don't know, the 40 a month what you get, $40 a month. But anyways, for us, we need the $10 one. So I'm gonna go here and check, click that. So once you get here, it says a public sponsor achievement will be added to your profile. Also receive a reward listed in $10 a month tier. Okay, so what we need to do here is just enter first, last name, address, and everything for our billing information, and then save. And then we definitely gonna get charged. So again, for this section, I'm just gonna do it on the side. Again, you know your first, last name, and everything. This is confidential. And then once it's done, we're gonna go to the next step. All right, guys. So as you can see, I just entered the billing information, payment information, and everything looks good. As you can see now, it says you now sponsoring Rational SA. This is the guy who created the BELABOX. Kudos, man. Great job. And as you can see, everything's looking good. Good here, good here. It also shows you how many other people are sponsoring him. All right. So now we can go back to BELABOX and hi, thanks for sponsoring. If you want to claim your BELABOX Cloud Remote and SRT LA Relay accounts, blah, blah, you can go to cloud.belabox.net. Again, if you have blah, so we can just go here to cloud.belabox.net. That's where we were. And then what we can do, we can again log in using GitHub. Now you should be able to detect our sponsorship. All right. So complete registration. You want to use a different email address, verify your account, then refresh this page. We'll only email if you fill in password. Okay, so here, even if we registered with GitHub, you know, logged in using our Gmail account, you need to create a password. And I believe I had a password with BELABOX, which I can actually go ahead and use. So see if I still have it. Yeah, I can just the same password that we used when we created our BELABOX account, the first one. I can go ahead and use the same one. So just copy paste it and then boom. So I mean, okay, same password we used to create our BELABOX account. Okay, so now this is what it's gonna look like. We have home, which is this one, and then we have BELABOX remotes. All right, as you can see, it says we have no remotes here. Okay, because we haven't added the box yet. And then we have SRT relays. Again, there's nothing so far. So first thing, we're going to BELABOX remote and we're going to add something there. So yeah, so now you need to go to the home page and then we're gonna go where it says BELABOX remote. Okay, we're gonna hit add because I only have one. So now I have added it. Okay, and name again, because it should be named the same thing, but that's gonna change. Okay, so we're gonna get the device key. So I'm gonna click on it and it's gonna copy that. Now we're gonna go back to our local configuration and then we're gonna go to BELABOX under system here. All right, guys, under system, we're gonna go to BELABOX Cloud Remote key here and then paste it and then hit save. Now, if I go back here to remote, you see now I'm getting exactly the same thing that I have here. So now this is my remote access. As you can see, it's the exact same copy as my local thing. Okay, look at this. So at this point, I don't even need to use the BELABOX.local anymore because I can access to it remotely from anywhere. And it's exactly the same information and I can just do everything here. So now we go back to, again, remember, the reason why we're not seeing it here is because I had to do it on the home page here. Again, my bad. Okay, but once you add it, it's already done. Now for the name, you can name it the same name. I don't think could change anything. So say Magic Box 2. Say rename, it should be the same here. And then for SRT relays, same concept here. As you can see, it's showing up. Okay, now this is gonna be the next thing that we're going to set up as well. Okay, so at this point, I'm not gonna go through the encoder settings and all the other stuff. I think we have already seen it before, but again, it's the same exact same thing. As you can see here, we have your encoder settings. You can go use the slider up to increase the maximum bit rate. Again, for me, 6000 seems to work great for most cases. Again, depending on your internet connection. If you have enough internet connection, you can go as high as the maximum is like 12 kbps, but 6000 seems to be perfect for 1080 30 frames per second. Again, depending on the internet connection they have. Encoder settings, same thing, just where you can choose your HDMI stuff, audio stuff and everything, audio delay, relay server, same thing. Now, as you can see now, this is something that's been added because locally we didn't have before we get the relay servers. Yes, locally now we have it, but we only had the manual configuration, which was not working for OBS. Okay, but now we have so many other cool stuff here that we can actually work with. All right, so obviously we're gonna go through all of this eventually, and then we have advanced here. For this is only for developer, which is almost the same thing here. Okay, again, I don't spend much time here, to be honest. After I have my encoder settings done, HDMI 1080 30 frames per second, and I go to HDMI and the audio codec and everything. The next thing, I just go to here, SRT relays, and this is where we're gonna use to be able to send the signal to OBS. Okay, so what we're gonna do once we have everything added, as you know, remember, because right now we only have one box added. If you had another box, which you have to pay another $5, you would have to pay another $5 for it. You can actually add it. Okay, and as you can see, I've chosen magic box number 2. Okay, so it's gonna give you a link. It's called SRT ingest settings, kind of in this section. Okay, and this link is technically what you're gonna take to OBS basically. Okay, so as you can see, if you scroll down here, you have a link here that says OBS source URL. Okay, so this is the link that we need to put to insert into OBS. Okay, but before we get into that, we also have to make sure we're getting that signal from that box, because right now what we're getting is only the ability to be able to control the box, but we're not getting any signal from the box into this server. Okay, so in order to do that, we need to use what we call the ingest key. Okay, which we'll have to go here inside our relay server settings. Okay, and then we're gonna go here where it says SRT LA receiver address. Okay, and we're gonna copy this, which is gonna be our SRT LA address. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and paste it in here. Okay, paste. It's gonna be us.srt.belabox.net, and then our SRT receiver port is gonna be this one, which is 5000. Click to it. It's gonna copy it, and then we're gonna drop it in here, and this is gonna delete the 6000 here. Paste it, and then SRT stream ID, we're gonna go ahead and grab it somewhere here. Should be our ingest key. Okay, so copy it, and then we're gonna paste it in here. And our SRT latency, we can keep it at 2000. That's a good default. If you're struggling with your internet connection, you could go up a little bit, maybe go to 3000. Okay, and that's pretty much it actually. Okay, so once you're done, you can actually, do we have anywhere to save this information? Probably not. Yeah, there's nothing to save, nowhere to save the information. Okay, again, we are copying this from here to either you do it locally or you can go to remote. It doesn't matter. Okay, everything is being done to the box. Okay, so once you're done here, the next thing is now we can go ahead and grab this link right here, which is gonna be SRT blah blah blah. This is the generic link, but this is the one that we need for OBS. So we're gonna click to it, and it's gonna copy it. We're gonna go to OBS. Before we go to OBS, is the one little thing that I would want to check here. If I go to encoder settings, it says enable the dynamic bitrate overlay. So basically, this is just some information of what's being sent from the box. You're gonna see it, especially because now we don't have any camera connected. and to be able to see the bitrate coming in and everything. But this is not something that you want to have on when you're actually live. Okay, so we're just going to enable it for now. And then I'm gonna go ahead and open OBS. I can skip this version here. So I already have a BELABOX kind of like scene, BELABOX number 2 scene already ready for me. So I can create a new source, and I'm gonna hit media source, and then I'm gonna call this one SRT Magic Box. I'm gonna call it Magic Box. You can call it whatever you want. Magic Box number 2, and then I'm gonna uncheck local file. Most people have seen some people would do the restart playback when source becomes active. I've had some issues with it, so I actually uncheck it, but some people check it. I just like feel like sometimes it was restarting to like, I don't know, it just didn't make sense. But yeah, you can have it on. Network buffering, let's say we put it to 1 megabit, and then input here, this is where you want to paste the link we just got. And then for reconnect delay, let's put it at 2 seconds. Everything else you can just leave it the way it is and click OK. So now if I go back to our SRT relay and I go back to BELABOX remote, I can go ahead and hit start and see if you get anything. So this one, there's no HDMI, so HDMI is not available. The camera isn't connected, but we're gonna test with the camera in a moment. Just wanna see if you could get something coming in. So it looks like without the HDMI, there's nothing coming in. So we will have to connect a actual HDMI cable. Even the bitrate is not, the little bitrate overlay I thought was gonna come in, but it's not coming in. So what I'm gonna do, I'm going to connect the camera and see if we get a signal. All right, guys, so I have my Panasonic GH5 right here just for testing. I'm gonna grab an HDMI cable right here, and we are going to plug into, just gonna turn around, plug in the HDMI cable. Just gonna plug into where it's supposed to be. All right, just gonna open the camera, turn around. And so right now the camera is on, and as you can see, it says failed to connect SRT server. Oh, so right now it's failing. I don't know why. I need to find out what's going on. Okay, so we had some issues here. We did not save our settings. So let's go back and save our settings here. So SRT LA receiver port was 5000, and we have stream ID, which was this one right here, paste, and then we have receiver address, which was SRT address here. So this one here, let me see if I can save it. Yeah, let's see it start now. Okay, so somehow it was not saved, but it looks like now it should be good, because you can see now the bit rate is going up to 6000 kbps. So I can expect to get some image in OBS. There we go. So now we have the image, and as you can see, if I move it, you should be able to see. Obviously it's a little delay, but you should be able to see that there's something coming in. We got some audio coming in, no problem. You can see my face, right? So obviously there's a little delay, but again, you can control the delay, but this is normal if you're running SRT stuff and you're struggling with, you don't have a good internet connection. Most of the time you want to have a little bit of delay there, because that's gonna help you get a good connection. But as you can see, this image quality is really good. Now I'm gonna do another quick test with a different camera here and see what we get. By the way, you can see as soon as I disconnect it, it's gone. And then I can go ahead and connect the second camera and see what we get. And see, we get a signal in OBS as soon as the camera is connected. We should be able to, unless there's an issue on the server side. So as you can see, say capture card error, video, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. So I've been having issues with this particular HDMI cable. I don't know if it's the cable or the camera, but this particular cable has been giving me issues. So that's something that, be aware of this stuff. It may happen to you. But when I test with a different cable, it actually did work, because you guys just saw the test. So that's something to kind of be aware of. So what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna go remove the cable and replace with a different cable here, which is weird because the cable works on my ATEM. So I don't know if it's the cable or the actual camera. I have no idea. But let me try the same cable on my Panasonic, because what I'm thinking, if you can see, I'm using this adapter here, which is like a micro HDMI to full size HDMI adapter. So I don't know if that's the one that's having an issue with, maybe it's not compatible with the BELABOX. I'm gonna go ahead and test it with the same cable that I just used on my GH5 and see what I get. Usually as soon as you connect it, if you didn't hit this stop thing, you should be fine. So as you can see, I think it's the adapter that's causing issues, because I just did the same thing. I just used the same cable that worked on the GH5, but oh, it's working. Seems to be working now. No, it's not. So I think it's the micro HDMI thing that's causing an issue here. So these are things that may happen. The reason why I'm doing it here on the camera so you guys can see. If it happened to you, don't panic. Just think about changing the cable. Next, I'm gonna try to use this cable, which is a direct kind of like a micro HDMI to full size HDMI cable, no adapter in between. May work. Again, you may have this problem, you may not have it. I don't know. I cannot predict what's gonna happen to you. But in general, this box usually does work well, so I never had issues with cables before. But guess what? Now we're having issues. So let's see what happens. I'm hoping it's not a micro HDMI port problem, because a lot of cameras have micro HDMI ports. So yeah, so as you can see, now it's working. No error. If I go back to OBS, you can see we get the image, no problem. So I would say, yeah, it's working, no problem. It's working, no problem. Let me see if we can have the camera here. Boom. So yeah, so now the camera is connected, and what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna record the rest of this video using this camera. So it's coming through SRT through the box, and as you can see, we got the camera, we got internet, we got everything here, which is pretty cool. All right. So guys, this is the part of testing. Again, I'm gonna show you some other footage that I've been able to film using the same setup. I even got a drone footage using this little box. I got some footage of me driving outside, and I got this one right here, which is in my office. Obviously, I don't know if you would do this in normal life, but this is just a test. So yeah, this is guys, it's working. All right, it's working. You can see the signal is clean, image quality is awesome, no problem. Running it at 6 megabits per second right here, so you guys can see. Again, you have access to it remotely. And what you could do, if I go here to BELABOX Cloud here, all right, so what you could do is, let me click stop here. I'm gonna show you something that I actually do that I kind of feel like it's super cool. Let's go down here where it says system, okay, and then click where it says start streaming automatically. Okay, so this is crucial, and I recommend 100% you just check it. The reason why, obviously, it's gonna give you a warning. It says an embedded page, say enabling this option will cause the encoder to start streaming automatically upon power up. So the reason why I do this is because if you are outdoors streaming and you connect the box, you want to make sure the box, as soon as you connect it and you connect internet, it sends a signal right away. If you don't do it, what's gonna happen is, like, every time you shut it down, it's going to kind of disconnect. For you to be able to get a signal back in OBS, you will have to start it manually. Let me show you what I mean. I'm just gonna go here and cancel. So if I go here, and as you can see in OBS, there's no signal. The reason why is because we did stop. So if I hit start and go back to OBS, we're gonna get a signal, right? Just give it a minute. It's gonna come automatically. The signal is here, okay? So this is kind of cool. However, let's say I was streaming and I lose internet connection. So I go ahead and disconnect the cable, right? What's gonna happen? I lose the signal, which is normal. But the box is still running, the camera, HDMI, everything is still running. So let's say it was just, I was in a place, maybe I'm on a cellular and everything, and it's not good. So I have an issue there, internet drops and no internet connection. So lose a signal and it comes back on. Let's see, plug the cable. Let's see if the image comes back in OBS without me having to do anything manually. Yes, it does, right? So it's coming, which is pretty cool. Next up, let's say now the worst happens and I lose power. So the box shuts down. Boom. The box is shut down. And obviously, even if we have internet connection, if we have no power, the box is not on, there's no way we can have a signal. Let's see what happens. If I get the power back on, maybe I lost the cable got disconnected or anything happens by accident, what's gonna happen? Nothing, right? The signal is not gonna come back on. This happens even when you reconnect it. This, you connect the box, you turn it on, the signal is not gonna come back on until you go back to BELABOX remote or BELABOX control panel right here, okay, and then restart it. Obviously local, this is the local one. We can go to this one that's not local. And then what you gotta do, you're gonna have to click restart, start manually, okay? So I have to do start manually, which is something sometimes you may not have access to the computer. I mean, you could do it on the phone, but it's an extra step. So to avoid this, do you know what you do? You can go here to BELABOX remote. Let me go ahead and stop it, and then go here, check where it says start streaming automatically. So I'm gonna click that. It's gonna give you a warning. Click OK. Basically, the warnings tell you whenever you're connected, be aware that if you're doing some weird stuff and the camera is on, people are gonna see you. Okay, it's just to warn you. Okay, that's it. So now what's gonna happen is I can do start. Okay, so we're gonna get an image back in OBS as usual, and it's running no problem, which is pretty cool. However, hold on a second. If I lose power, see what happens. It's gone, right? Signal is gone. Oh, power comes back on, or I just shut it down, and then the next day I want to go live again. I just plug it in, give it an internet, see what happens. I don't have to do anything. I don't have to mess up with the BELABOX remote or anything. I mean, you could go there to just troubleshoot. If there's any other problem, you still have the interface available for you. However, you don't have to mess up with it every day, all the time, okay? Now, once you connect it, it should be able to give you the image automatically. So let's see. Why it's not giving us the image? Let's see what's going on. Well, I don't know. For some reason, it did not save it. See, I forgot to save it. So let's click start, hit OK, and then save. That's why it did not happen. Let's start it, okay? And now we're gonna get a signal. Let's test it again. Again, remember, when you do this kind of stuff, you always have to save. If you don't save, you lose it. Okay, lost the power again, and then we lose the signal. And let's see what happens. As it says, the encoder is offline. We plug it back on. Let's see what happens. We should be able to get a signal this time without me having to do anything on the encoder or on the BELABOX cloud. So let's wait and see. Oh, the internet was not connected. Again, my bad. I didn't do anything on the cloud to see. Now it's connecting and it should be able to see an image in OBS. That's exactly what's supposed to happen. Okay. Again, my internet connection, the cable was kind of disconnected, so I had to plug it in again. So guys, as you can see, everything is working, no problem. The last thing before we close the video that I wanted to test with you guys is the bonding capabilities. Okay, so I got my cell phone right here. I got a USB cable, kind of USB to Lightning. Just gonna connect it right here, and then I'm just gonna connect this USB cable to any USB port available right now. So I'm gonna go here and then connect it, and then as you can see, I'm getting a message that says, do you trust this device or this computer? I say trust, and obviously you're gonna have to put my password or my code. So right now it's connected. Now, because I have set up this my phone to tether automatically. As you can see, there's a little tethering sign opened already to be able to tether in the internet. It's automatic. Once you set it up once, guys, every time you connect your phone, it's gonna send it automatically, which is pretty cool. Now, usually you would go into your settings here and then go to hotspot. Okay, so as you can see, it says one connection. It's because it's already connected. I have connected to a BELABOX before, so every time I connect my phone, it will connect it to it automatically. So you just gotta enable your hotspot in there, personal hotspot, and it's gonna be able to connect no problem. The first time, again, it may ask you if you trust the device, enter the password, but once you do it once, boom, it's gonna do it automatically. So let's take a look at what's happening if it's actually bonding right now. So if I go to our account here, our remote, as you can see, what's happening here is we have Ethernet 1 connected with the IP address. We also have Ethernet 2, it's calling Ethernet 2, and it's connected. It's also sending some data. So we're getting around 5,000, 4,000 from Ethernet because, again, this is my main internet home. But also you can see that this one, the phone is sending about, almost like 2000 kbps. So you can see how it's doing the bonding. Now, check where the magic happens. If I was to disconnect this big internet right here, boom, it's gone. Is the phone going to be able to keep up? Let's see. Now the phone, yeah, we lost it a little bit, but now the phone is taking over. Okay, see, it's pushing the entire thing on its own. Okay, again, I see that it's not pushing that much for now, but it's gonna get there. All right, so let's see if BS we still have a signal. Yes, we do. Guess what? What's happening here? Everything, guys, is being powered by the phone. Okay, the whole internet connection, the whole internet bandwidth, it's being brought in by the phone. As you can see, I have disconnected my cable. If I had another phone, a second phone, I could actually connect it in there, and the magic of BELABOX, it will bond the two signals coming in into one strong signal, and that will give us a super good signal right here. And again, you can monitor everything here. That's the beauty of having the BELABOX remote. Okay, so guys, I hope this video was helpful. Go ahead, build your box. If you were doing it together with me, again, let me know, tag me on social media, follow me on Instagram or any other social media platform you are on, either on Facebook or Instagram mostly. Tag me, send me some pictures, go in my Facebook group, send me some stuff that you have been able to build. If you have some accessories that you actually love, just drop them in the comment section, or anything you wanna do to contribute to the community. It's always good when we help each other. But other than that, guys, let me know if you want to build your own server. I'm gonna link the video below that talks about Etcher if you don't want to pay the $10 monthly, obviously. However, to do it completely for free, it's gonna take a lot of work in terms of programming. So you maybe the easy way may get you like something like a $2 monthly or something, $3 maybe, if you get your own server and set up everything on a virtual machine instead of using the BELABOX cloud. Again, this is gonna depend on your use case scenario, obviously. Thank you guys for watching and hanging out with me. Again, my name is Sam. You're watching Lab Production Tips and Tools. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't subscribed, and I will see you on the next video. Take care.